Hi guys, it's been a good week and I've been in the flow of the market. So the week before last I was in Scotland, so I wasn't trading, but I was able to just watch the markets and see if there were any patterns in play. And this is something that Roland Wolf talks a lot about, seeing what's working in the market. Whatever worked yesterday, that's what he's looking to trade the next day if the opportunity presents itself. So I normally struggle with this because I'm so focused on trading just one or two setups because I don't want to get overwhelmed with looking at other things that are going on in the market. But because I was away the week before last, I was able to see what was working and identified the right setups that were in play. And I knew exactly what I wanted to trade this week and it actually worked. So going to go into the trades that I took. So going to look at 3 trades that I took this week. I was off work this week, so that was great, so I could fully trade. And they were all day 2 plays, which isn't my usual setup at all. But going to look at why I was trading day 2s before we go into the actual trades. So the week before this, I was just watching the market, and I think I spoke about it on my last video. I was looking at NCI, so this is its day 1 here. It moved, had a big run on high volume, and I was all eyes on that to look to play it for a first green day bounce or a 3rd day surge setup. So I wanted to pull back and then to play it on maybe day 3 or day 4. So if we go into the intraday chart, this is its day 1 move, big move, nice pullback on day 2. And has this lovely consolidation on day 2. So I was thinking this is looking perfect for a day 3 kind of move if it stays here. But on day 2 market open, it had this big bounce and continued very much so onto day 3 as well. So once I saw this bounce on day 2, that was kind of the setup done for me. I wouldn't be looking to trade that because it's already had this big bounce here. But that made me start to think, well, if this bounced on day 2, maybe that would become a theme. And then the following day, we'll look at RIME. Let's go back. So this is kind of its day 1, not a huge day 1. And then on day 2, it's kind of consolidating in this area. You can see this wedge start to form, and then if we zoom in, it gets more and more compact, and then it breaks out of VWAP, holds over VWAP, which is this purple line, and then starts to have this big bounce, which then continues after hours. So then that's a second big bounce on a day 2. So that was the second day 2 bounce I'd seen. And then if I also go into this one, JDZG, where was it? So yeah, this is its day 1 here, and then an after hours push, bit of a spike pre-market, and then a pullback on day 2. And then it wants to bounce or hold just above the previous day's close, and then goes on to have a massive bounce as well. So there's 3 tickers within the space of 2 days that have had a big bounce on day 2. So that was at the end of the week before last on a Friday. So what I took from that was next week when I'm back, I'm looking only at trading day 2s because that's clearly what's working. And as I say, I'm not very good at being in the flow of the market usually, but yeah, because I was away, I was able to just properly look at what was going on, which is really helpful. So I'm going to go into the trades that I took then because of these day 2 bounces. So one of them was ATOM. Let's go to the daily chart first. So this is its day 1 here. It's moved on high volume, and then I traded it for this bounce on day 2, which is almost perfectly bouncing off day 1's high of day. So if we go on to the intraday, so this is its day 1, and then what I can see is it's got a nice push after hours which is good because that shows strength and that it may want to keep running the next day. So I'm looking at taking a position on this pre-market on day 2, because day 2 bounces are in play. It's a nice push after hours, and then here it's trying to hold above the previous day's close. So I took an entry pre-market at 399, which is around there, risking off just below here. And then, as you can see on market open, it just ripped out of the gate, and I honestly can't remember exactly where I sold. Probably too soon, but I took a 28% gain on that. And then you can see the bounce really did continue as well. So that was one of the day 2 bounces that I took, and it was also in the same sector as one of the other day 2 bounces that I'd seen the week before. So it was the same industry, so that got my attention as well. So the next one I took was FJET. If we go to the daily chart, so again, classing this here as its day 1, and it's not a massive move, and it's not done a massive volume. It's only done 3 million mil in volume on this day here. However, this is what's in play. So let's go to the 1 minute chart. So it's had this nice grind up on its day 1, and then more importantly is it had this after hours push, and then it's sort of holding that area pre-market again. So very similar setup to the one I've just talked about. And yeah, it's important that it's got the strength after hours. So I took an entry on this one at 7:15, so somewhere here. And then again, market open very similar to ATOM, just had a push right out of the gate, and I took a 25% gain on that one. And again, that continued into the next day as well. So I'll go to the final one, which was CDIO. Again, let's go to the daily chart quickly. So classing this here as its day 1. It's gone from around 119 up to highs of 284-ish. Go on to the 1 minute time frame. So this one was a little bit different. So it had a nice day 1, pulled back, and then it did have this push after hours, but it wasn't actually going any higher than the high of day from market open. But it did have a nice little push. So it wasn't hot on my list, because after hours, it pulled back so much, and pre-market it was, well below the previous day's close. But I just had eyes on it in case it wanted to go over the previous day's close and potentially have another push, which it did do. So when I saw it reclaim this red-green area, I thought, I'm going to have a stab at this, just because day 2s are in play. It's had a nice day 1, it's had a push after hours. So yeah, I'm going to try it, and I took that at 214. Nice entry, just risking off just somewhere around here, 210, 209. And then yeah, just sold into these peaks. My best sell was 247, somewhere there, and I took just a 15% gain on this one. I could have done better with my sales. I was hoping for a bit more of a bounce. So yeah, I could have done better on that. But as we can see again, which is something I probably should have picked up on, that all of these bounces were going into the next day, which I mentioned on the other 2 tickers, but my brain wasn't sort of thinking ahead that enough. So I was selling out all on day 2. But as you can see, I had that big push after hours. And then this one absolutely ripped the following days. If you can see on the daily chart, I'm trading it here on this day, and you can see it's just gone up, up and up, and it's still continuing to go. Not that I ever would have held it that long, but things really do seem to be having multi-day moves at the moment. So I think swinging stocks at the moment is potentially a good idea, depending on the setup. But yeah, so there are 3 day 2 plays, which again I wouldn't normally play, but that's what's happening at the moment. By the time this video comes out, that setup probably won't be in play anymore, so I'll probably back off on that and see what's working next. But yeah, so I'm quite proud of myself this week for reading the market and adapting to a setup that wasn't my usual setup. And I can see this is where you can really find the edge. If you can see what's working, you're ahead of the game and you can hit the next one until it stops being in play, which could be the next day or the next week. So good week for me. Next week we'll see, probably something else is in play and I won't have a clue what's going on, but I'm going to enjoy the accomplishment of this week. So cheers for watching, catch you next Sunday.